So the Amex Cash Magnet has helped me earn thousands of dollars worth of free travel. But it definitely wasn't through swiping or tapping this card, because to earn even $1,000 of cash back, you would need to spend over $65,000 on this card. There are certain pockets within the points and miles world where it almost feels exaggerated of how much value some folks are getting when they're redeeming for their first class flights or luxury hotel stays. And with the Amex Cash Magnet, it's purely cash back. No fancy points, miles, or other ways really to get that much more value. So by the end of this video, you'll get to know everything you need to know about the Amex Cash Magnet. You'll also be able to assess whether it's the right card for you. And of course, I'll be going into how this card provided me with so much value. The story begins with me being pretty much in the mid-game of everything credit cards. So we're talking around maybe 30 cards or so into the game, where at the current time of recording, I'm 60 cards plus. When I first got the card, it was a $150 sign-up bonus after $2K in spend in the first 6 months to my memory. And today, the sign-up bonus looks like this. We're looking at $200 back after $2,000 in minimum spend in the first 6 months. This 10% back on that amount of spend is provided to you in terms of a statement credit. The second part of the sign-up bonus is essentially 0% APR for the first 15 months. This is on both purchases as well as balance transfers. On the same note of spending in the first 15 months, you also get reduced fees on the equivalent of Amex's BNPL, Buy Now, Pay Later. It's branded as Plan It by American Express, where basically you can split up larger purchases into monthly installments. It definitely comes at a fee, so here it would just be a bit lower than what it would be in the longer term. The honest reason of me applying for this card was the fact that I was just itching to put in that next application and get that next approval. Essentially something to spend on to work towards a bonus versus not. From an earning structure perspective, there's not really much of a structure. It's literally one specific category, which is basically everything, where you're getting 1.5% cash back on each and every dollar spent. With this card, we're not earning American Express membership reward points. It's 100% cash back, where as you earn it, it's basically parked aside, and you can redeem from that balance towards a statement credit. With this context, most people would probably be like, all right, this card sucks, let's just move on. With that said, I want to show you the context from a decision matrix perspective. It's super simple, but drives the point home of what you could be looking for with this card, or what otherwise you may want to consider. So what we have in front of us is traditionally known as the Boston Consulting Group Matrix, BCG Matrix for short. It's basically a decisioning framework for us to figure out / decide based on certain factors, which way do we proceed. Typically speaking, this would be used to make a decision based on, let's say, a couple factors known as market share as well as market growth. But in this specific scenario, when we're looking at cards, I basically want to use this framework as a way to analyze the Amex Cash Magnet versus how does the bigger picture really look like. So starting off, we basically have 4 categories of where this Amex Cash Magnet could basically fall under. The first is dog / pets. And when you have a pet, it's basically your kind of pet project / something you like, but may not give you the most holistic value other than something really for you. A good example of a pet in this situation would be any card offered through luxury card. For example, with the MasterCard Gold card issued through them, there's a $995 annual fee, and I'm not saying that's worth it or not, but in general, you're really paying for the fact that it's plated with 24 karat gold, not really the fact that it has so many more benefits. Another dog is going to be your Amex Gold card. It's really great for many, but if it's something for you where you're not really using the credits and you just keep it because it's gold or rose gold or Amex branded and it just feels nice, that's definitely a pet where it means something close to you, but in general, it's not a very logical type of decision. Simply put, credit cards that are dogs in this scenario are basically those that have no real future, in the sense that you're still getting dogged on the annual fees, no pun intended, and there's not that much more value you're recouping. So it's really a pet to you, but in general, maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense for almost everyone else out there. Next up, we got the cash cows. A couple examples of these are going to be your AAA cards, where there's 3 actual variations, but a couple of them for our cash cow example are going to be the ones by Comenity Bank. Essentially, they have a superpower where one of them offers you 5% on gas purchases year-round up to a certain limit, and on the flip side, you get 5% on groceries for a certain limit as well. You do have other earning multipliers such as restaurants and of course a standard kind of 1x everywhere else. The point here is it's a cash cow because it has a specific category where a lot of value can be reaped from. More than that, from a competition perspective, it may not have that many more competitors. In the world of credit cards, we do know there's a lot of 5% cards out there, but simply put, if you only could have, let's say, a few cards for one category or one card per category, this is an example of a cash cow situation because there's a lot of value to be had. Is this card going to have, let's say, 5% on every single category out there? Probably not. Yet at the same time, it provides a lot of value for the one use case slash superpower it really has. Is the Amex Cash Magnet a dog? I would say there's no annual fee, so there's no real burden. And at the same time, is there really a harm of keeping it? I'll get into this shortly. Simultaneously, is it a cash cow? I would say no, not really. 1.5% back is nice, but it's no 3% on everything or 5% on everything. So with that, let's look at our two other categories. Coming to our stars, it's pretty much how it sounds like. It's pretty much the best in the industry. It's top class. From an official perspective in the market, let's say your market growth rate is insane and the market share that you're taking over is also insane year over year or period over period. A couple examples in our world are going to be the Amex Platinum, where basically, yes, it has a $695 annual fee at the time of recording, yet it comes with so many benefits where if it makes sense for you, it could make not just a little sense, it could make a lot of sense. Almost identical in terms of value, just in a different way, is the Capital One Venture X. With this card, you're getting 2x miles on each and every dollar spent everywhere, and these miles can be transferred to other partners where you can get even more value. And more than that, it does have a $395 annual fee, yet it comes with credits in the longer term where basically Capital One is paying you to keep the card, where you're getting $300 in terms of a travel credit each year and 10,000 miles given to you each and every account anniversary. More than that, with this card, you can add authorized users for free, and they also get the benefits of lounge access. With the Capital One Venture X, you're getting access to 1,300 plus lounges through the Priority Pass network. So without even going into further detail, the Amex Platinum and Capital One Venture X definitely are in that star population, where the Capital One Venture X feels like a no-brainer from an out-of-pocket cost perspective, and the Amex Platinum, if it makes sense for you, it can very much make sense for you. So coming to the question marks, this is basically where, okay, hey, they have the market growth potential to be insane. At the same time, their share today may not be so much. A couple examples I've noted here are actually a couple Wells Fargo specific cards. The first is a Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card. The card was introduced earlier this year, and the initial remarks are basically like, hey, it's like a competitor for other cards that exist in the market, such as the Chase Sapphire Preferred, for example. The fact that it's compared to that is actually very strong because that's literally one of the most popular cards in the entire market and has been for multiple years. It's essentially a question mark because the market share it has today is not so much, but the growth potential could be insane. Super similarly, Wells Fargo also released another card after the Autograph Journey known as the Wells Fargo Attune card. The card literally has no annual fee and it earns 4% in so many categories, yet at the current time of recording, its basically market share is not so much, and from a market growth perspective, just given that value proposition, that's really crazy. But the question mark is, if no one knows about the card or no one actually cares about the actual spend categories, that's really the question. So after all of this, where does the Amex Cash Magnet really fall into this matrix? Well, if it's not really a dog and it's not really a cash cow, is it really a star? I would beg to differ. It is definitely not a star. I've had this card for multiple years, and not much has changed for it to go from question mark when it first got released to something next level, because even when it came out in the first place, it was a question mark of what the heck is going on with this card? Why was it even released? And from when it first came out, not much has really changed. So now I'll share a few alternatives which I think are just better than the Amex Cash Magnet in general, but I will come back to how without this card, I really wouldn't have had the capability to earn those thousands of dollars worth of free travel, and it's something you can use in your strategy as well. The Amex Cash Magnet comes with 1.5% cash back. So in theory, as long as you're beating that, it's pretty much better as long as it doesn't have an annual fee as well. The one caveat is that Amex cards have something known as Amex Offers, which are basically merchant offers where you get certain significant discounts depending on the retailer slash merchant, where it could be an incentive to actually keep this card if you actually spend in those certain specific categories. This sounds logical, but I'll provide an alternate solution as well. With that context, basically any 2% earning card out there could be that much better. A few examples are going to be your Wells Fargo Active Cash, where you're getting 2% on each and every purchase. Another example is going to be your Chase Freedom Unlimited, where it is 1.5% cash back on each and every purchase, but with that card, you actually get 5%, let's say, when you're booking through Chase's portal for travel purchases, which you don't really get that with the Amex Cash Magnet. From there, you get another 2% card known as the Synchrony Premier MasterCard. This card, I got it back in the day. I'll share the story at a future time, but basically it's 2% everywhere. The sign-up bonus made sense at the time of when I applied, but with that, another solution is just literally a different Amex card. This is going to be the Blue Cash Everyday, where basically you're getting 3% on certain categories and 1x everywhere else. The point being, if you just want to set it, forget it with the Amex Cash Magnet, just swipe, you get 1.5% cash back, great. Yet if you want to potentially optimize it a little, you could consider the Amex Blue Cash Everyday, which earns that much better depending on the categories of where you're spending exactly. The way the Amex Cash Magnet really provided me value was in the most unexpected way I could ever imagine. Yes, I applied for it on a whim. It wasn't a part of any plan. I was just like, let me just go ahead and get it. And after having it, these guys, American Express, freaking gave me like a $20,000 credit limit, which sounds great, but this was the problem. With Amex, there's something known as a financial review. Let's say you're applying for an Amex card, and let's say whatever situation, it basically triggers a financial review. An example could be, hey, you put your income as X, and they're basically reviewing the fact that, hey, is that correct or not? In this situation, they may ask for tax documents or other type of proof to justify whatever you put in on their application. The reason this matters is really because this is how the situation went down. And no, luckily I wasn't targeted for a financial review. What happened is that I had the Amex Cash Magnet on me, and I wanted to actually apply for the Hilton Aspire card. The value of the Hilton Aspire, very simply put, is the fact that you have automatic diamond status with Hilton, which is their highest level of status, and also you get 34 points per dollar spent between both the card earn rate and then the status that you're getting, where you get a multiplier in terms of the points you earn. More than that, you get a free reward night each and every year, but the value of that reward night isn't, let's say, 100 or 200. You could redeem it for a crazy amount of value, just depending on where you're using that certificate. All of this to say that I applied for the Hilton Aspire pretty much when it first came out, and I would have been a new card member in that situation, so I also would have received a sign-up bonus. What had happened is I received a letter in the mail that basically said, hey, the reason we can't give it to you, we love to give it to you, but the reason we can't give it to you is because you basically have the maximum number of cards allowed by American Express. In general, Amex has a 4, 5, 6 rule, it's colloquially called as, where basically you can only have 4, 5, or 6 Amex cards. The way to get that Hilton Aspire basically would have been to cancel one of my cards and then apply fresh and then just see what happens. What I did is I canceled one of my cards so that I could do this. This thought came into my head because as I was thinking about it and doing some Google/research, I was like, okay, so the limit is $32,000 that Amex has, and so if they want to give you more than $32K, they probably could, but also could trigger a financial review. With that said, the $20,000 Amex Cash Magnet credit limit they gave me was one of the better or best things they could have done, because after the sign-up bonus, this card basically doesn't have a lot of longer-term value day to day, because I have other cards that are out-earning this like way more than just 1.5% base rate, that too cash back. So I employed a strategy that I used with Chase Bank prior, where basically I had X amount of credit limit with Chase with a certain card, and to get approved for a Visa Signature or Visa Infinite card, you need to have a certain threshold of limit, like $5,000 or $10,000. On the same note, I asked Amex, hey, can you do this? Can you basically force approve my application by taking some of the credit line from one of my cards to the Hilton Aspire to force approve me? And they said yes, but the asterisk was, if I moved over credit to basically open this account, I would not be considered a new card member and I wouldn't receive that sign-up bonus. This was definitely a decision I had to make because Amex has a once-in-a-lifetime rule for their bonuses. So if I got it this way, I wouldn't be eligible later on to get a new card member offer from the Hilton Aspire. Because I was a little spoiled, we could say, I was traveling on the road as a management consultant and racking up points left, right, center. So maybe it was 150 or 180,000 point sign-up bonus offer for Hilton, the Aspire. I really could care less because I valued everything else the card came with and for the longer term value of it as well. The Hilton Aspire had a $450 annual fee when it first came out, and over the years I've received tons of value. Its annual fee has also jumped to $550 with the total refresh of what the card has to offer. To see my thoughts, click over here. I'll see you there.